So there's 20 or so slides that I'm going to go through, but as I say, shout out any questions. What I want to get through today, so we've got a little bit about who are hyped marketing, who I am, why I'm standing here, why I think I know what I'm talking about with this stuff. What is high impact marketing? How not to do it. We all love a bit of how not to do it, don't we? So we've got to show some examples of that. How to do it, clarity, consistency, cohesion, bringing it all together, making sure that your marketing gets to the right people at the right time. Who does it well, and then we'll sort of wrap it up with some more questions and everything at the end. So hype marketing. This is hype marketing. Here's some photos. Here's my 1-year-old I was talking about. This is us on Halloween, some of the team, and this is the 3 people that run hype marketing. So myself, my wife, and Andrew. We're literally over there. There's a building there, 2 stories. There's 10 or so of us in there. We started, 3.5 years ago now, I guess it was. And I went in there and I had 300 quid in my business bank account and spent 100 quid on a laptop, second-hand one. I had 200 quid left. I was like, what are we going to do? I need to get some business. And I came to meet Emma at the hub because I think when she was launching the hub, she saw that the best thing to do was target people that are starting businesses. And because you've got all the time in the world when you're starting a business, you've got no customers, but you've got an idea. So you need to get out and go and chat to people. And Emma was kind of like tweeting me every 5 minutes saying, come to the hub, come to the hub. And I used to really look forward to Friday because I was like, yeah, I can go to the Farnham hub. Brilliant. I can speak to someone and pretend that I've been dealing with clients all week. And if only it was back like that again now. It's changed a lot over the 3.5 years. I went out there and I was just trying to get loads of clients in whatever way was possible. And I think I wasted a lot of energy and time doing that. And then year 2 was about employing the team that could try and deliver that. And it went a bit crazy. I went and just employed the world, basically. If you needed a job in marketing, come and work for me. We've got loads of clients. And that was ridiculous. It was the wrong model too. So last year was about settling back down and basically going, no, let's look at what service we want to deliver, what the clients need us to deliver, and how we have the right team to deliver that marketing activity. And we now have basically marketing packages that we say, okay, we're not just going to deliver what you want us to deliver, Mr. Client. We will offer you what we believe works for your business. If you don't want that, go and find somebody that will do something for you, because there's plenty of people out there that will do what you ask if you wave a check in front of them. We want to make sure that when we report back, we're reporting back good results. Otherwise, your clients just come in and drift back out the door. So now we say to the clients, no, this is what we believe will work for you. We've got a bunch of packages we pull together. We're open and honest about the prices. And it means that we deliver back results that they're impressed with, and we're delivering what we believe is going to work. It's a good model. It's working. We've got 30 or so clients that are on a retainer with a monthly basis at the moment that are happy clients, I presume. So that's a little bit about us. What is high impact marketing? This is not high impact marketing. People think high impact marketing is like going, hello, hi, I'm here in the room, and sticking something in your face. That kind of stuff doesn't really work. That's just, you're annoying more people doing that than the people you're pleasing and trying to get their business from. You're just going to shove stuff in their face that's not going to be the right people, and you're going to waste your time and effort and resource doing that. I was just chatting to yourself about PPC and how that works, and you'll understand from a PPC point of view. If you just chuck PPC in front of everyone's face, it's going to cost you a fortune, and you may attract a couple of the right people. It's about really targeting the right individuals, so your marketing spend drives you the best return on investment and the best sales possible. So what is high impact marketing? So it's focused, it's driven, it's all in the detail, it's really thought out. Okay, you want to engage with a relatively small amount of people, and you need to give them some experience that they want to do business with you and engage with you. And this is then going to maximize your return on investment. So target a few people with a really great experience to get really fantastic return on investment. That's high impact marketing. That's what's going to work for you, especially in today's environment. Things have changed so much. There's so many people targeting your potential customers as well as you. You need to be doing it in a really thought out way that makes them want to come and get them, use you and use your service. So I want to go through some examples of people that I believe are doing it wrong or have done it wrong. So there's 4 here. So the top left, this is used car sales, yeah, right? Why call it pre-owned car sales? This is fluffing something up. This isn't, like, we all know used car sales. Look at the experts in car sales. People like Auto Trader, they call it used cars. Why are people now going pre-owned? Previously loved cars. It's not. We'll call it used cars. Stick to it. You're fluffing it up. You're lying. You're looking like you're deceitful, and that's what the customers are going to think you're doing. This is horrendous in my mind. This is from a training company, yeah? So they provide skill set for training in the office. too ugly to sleep your way to the top. You can always upskill yourself, right? How many people are you offending with that for the one person that might find it funny? And to be honest, I don't want to, the person that does find it funny, I wouldn't want to work with anyway. Like that is not a way to market your business. This here, how often have we seen this? Sale up to 70% off. What does up to mean? It means the one pair of socks that's only in size small at the back of the store is going to have 70% off, and everything else has got 5% off. You look at all the businesses around Farnham that have shut down recently, they have all had this in their window, up to and a percentage off. If I'm honest, it's bollocks, right? It should be, we've got, if it was me that had a retail outlet, I'd say between 40 and 60% off on average across our products. Yeah, but turn that into something a bit more friendlier. But that's the message that I want to get across to my clients, because then customers are going to think, yeah, do you know what? I'll go in there and get a good deal no matter what I want. This as well, right? This is a Sky advert, and the amount of money that Sky spend on their marketing, and then this is what they come up with, right? So they got Lily Allen on here. I can't quite read what it says on the screen there, but it says, okay, so it says baby sleeping, box sets on Sky, me time bliss, right? Anybody that follows Lily Allen on any social media knows that that is not how she speaks, right? So if you've paid Lily Allen 200 grand or whatever to put her face on your poster, why are you putting messaging next to it that is clearly not Lily Allen? Your audience is just not going to engage with that. You've used her to capture your audience, but then you've used the wrong message. So it's a waste of money on Sky's behalf in doing that. They'd be better off using a Shutterstock photo, to be honest, yeah, because you've caught the people in and then you've given them the wrong message. You need to really think about that message that you give your customers. Make sure it engages with them in the right way. Make sure they're appealing to it, the right individual at the right time. That's stuff that doesn't work, okay. Right. I believe it's all about knowing your audience, right? So things like, how do they eat? What sports are they interested in? Are they relaxed? Are they chilled? Are they time sensitive? Or do they have all the time in the world? Are they sat back, relaxed? They can spend some time engaging with you. Understand the difference as well between decision makers and influencers. This has been brought up a few times at the Hub, and most people get it and some people don't get it. But your decision maker, most cases, would be the person that is buying the product, or the person who likes the product and buys it. Whereas in this situation with a mother and child, for example, that wants a balloon, your influencer is the kid. They're the one that you want to attract to start with, yeah? Big pink branding if it's balloons for girls or whatever. But then the decision maker is the mum. So the detail in what you're getting across, the price, the fact that it's on a string, you can tie it to your wrist, the fact it's going to last a week or whatever, that's who the decision maker needs to be targeted with. But the influencer is all the fluffy stuff that goes with it. And it goes into everything. It's buying a car, it's buying a house, it's your broadband for at home. Understand the difference between features and benefits. When car companies sell cars in a bad way, they will say, this car comes with air conditioning, ABS, traction control, run flat tires. That is not selling a product. What they should be saying, and the ones that do it well will say, this car has climate control, which means that you'll always be at the right temperature. The car will stop within 50 meters. The car, the car's got lights that light your pathway on the way home. Don't give the technical side of it. Think about the benefits of the product rather than the actual features.
We actually call them FABs in the motor trade.
Do you? FABs?
Advantage benefit.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, but you don't tell that to the customer, do they? If you call them an FAB to the guy who's on a test drive.
Need it, not
yeah.
Who knows how ABS works?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And who cares? All I care about is when that lorry in front of me puts his brakes on the motorway, that my car's stopping quicker than that lorry. That's the important thing. And it's about getting that across in your marketing messaging as well. So, let's take this. If you know that your audience, if you know that you get to know your audience and you understand them, and it's someone that might cycle to work, they eat fast food, they spend a bit of time doing activity, and they don't have much time on their hands, and they're in a family with a couple of adults or a couple of kids. Chances are that trying to advertise to that person with anything that involves them doing something is not going to help. Right? This probably sums up me, if I'm honest. Right? I'm always trying to think, oh yeah, I'll probably cycle to work. I'm always fast fooding. I've got a bit of time for a hobby of myself at the weekend. No time at all, and I've got my kids. Right? That situation there is someone that has no time. Yeah. So if I look at what I need in my life, I need my businesses that I operate with, my companies that I buy things from to help me in my lifestyle. And I think two brands that stand out in mind. So Cafe Nero. Cafe Nero do a loyalty scheme where you get a card. Some of you have probably been there, and I think they might have moved it onto an app recently, but a little while ago it was just a card. And you went in there, bought yourself a coffee, stamped your card, great, nice one, stick it in my wallet, stamp my card, nice one, keep doing that. And eventually I get a free coffee, right? I don't really care about the free coffee. It's not the free coffee that's making me going in there, yeah? But it's Cafe Nero, so I kept doing it for a while. Starbucks released an app, yeah? And the app, I don't know who's got a Starbucks app on their phone, but it is fantastic. If I get within 5 minutes of a Starbucks, it sends me a little alert, say, hey, do you know what, there's a Starbucks down there. These are the directions to it. This is how long it's going to take them to make your coffee. Do you want to get your favorite coffee? Yeah, right. That has helped me. I get a free coffee still, but it's every 15 goes in Starbucks, whereas it's 9, I think, over at Nero. But the app is what has made me want to engage with that company because they've made my life much easier on my day-to-day basis. I don't have time. If I've got a screaming kid on one arm and I've got my bike, I don't have time to lock my bike up outside, go and stand in the queue in there with the kid screaming. I'm just going to miss out on my coffee. Whereas Starbucks have just made it simple for me. I can put my bike near the door, run in, know that my Starbucks is waiting for me on the end of the counter while everyone else is in the queue. If you don't have the Starbucks app, seriously get it. It's a life changer, right? So that is about Starbucks understanding their customer and knowing what they need to do. So similarly, if a customer profile is someone that might get the train to work, they have dinner on the table each night, they play five-a-side football in the evening, they're likely to be chilled out in their time, and they might be in a relationship, but they don't have any kids. You know that you can target that customer in a way that involves them spending a bit more time engaging with your brand. They're sat on a train for some time. If they're cooking dinner in the evening and sitting down, chances are they've got the time to do that. They're not rushing around getting takeaways and things. Five-a-side football, they're in an area that if you're doing five-a-side football, what I do, I might go up and do a bit of rock climbing. I've got no time to be on an app, and I've probably got no reception. Whereas if someone's playing five-a-side football, chances are they're going to be doing that in and around a town centre, heavily populated area. They're going to have good mobile phone reception, so you can use an app to engage with them and expect them to be able to do it work because they're not up a mountain doing it. They're in love, so they're going to be on social media all the time, saying how much they love their other half and stuff like that, right? This is a completely different profile. This is probably me 10 years ago before I met my wife and had kids and started running a business. Yeah, I'm going to do more things. I'm going to engage with your brand more. It's not about making my life easier and quicker. It's about enhancing my life with the experience that I have with your brand. So, Vitality. Who's got a Vitality iPhone, iWatch? Has anybody taken that up? So Vitality, they do a scheme where if you engage with them enough online, plus you go to the gym enough and you exercise enough and you do enough steps, then you can buy an iWatch or an Apple Watch, call it what you like, for £29. Right? That's fantastic, but that wouldn't work for me because I don't have the time to engage with that brand to the level they want me to. They're going to shove a load of adverts in my face because that's where they're making the money to pay off the best of the balance on the iWatch. But because they know that their target audience have got the time to engage, they can create that kind of situation for them. You take people in my office, the guys and girls in their 20s will be doing this kind of stuff, but they don't have the Starbucks app. Yeah, I don't have time to do this kind of stuff. The Starbucks app helps me. So it's just making sure that your tool, your messaging, what you're expecting the customer to do is really relevant to that customer and making sure that they can engage with you in the way that they want. Because if Vitality shoved this in my face, I'm going to go, yeah, it looks cool, but I ain't got time to do it. So sorry, I'm going to move on. The audience is very different. There's so many, and there's no way that I can stand here and go, okay, this is how you target this person, this is how you should target that person. You need to all work out your individual customers, your ideal customers, and then make sure you target them all in a different way. And whether that be social media or emails or walking up and shaking their hand or picking up the phone or trying to do a PPC campaign to drive them to your website, understand each of them individually and how you want them to get you into their circle. Okay, so let's look at some people that have done this brilliant. These guys are geniuses in my mind. So this is Adam, Richard, and John from Innocence Movies. They took high-impact targeted marketing to the next level in what they wanted to achieve. So they have sold a few of these fruit drinks they made. There's no difference between their fruit drinks and lots of other fruit drinks on the market, but they'd sold a couple and they did some cool branding and it worked with that. But they knew that if they wanted to sell loads, they needed some of this stuff in the middle. And they were kind of like, how on earth are we going to do that? We don't really want to go and get a loan to do it. We need to make sure that we get some investors. So they're like, right, these investors, we need to get these guys on board. And the investors knew, they knew the investors would want to see some financial performance of the business. That didn't necessarily mean that they had to turn over tens of millions of pounds. They just needed to show that there was a profit margin there to be made. And as they scaled up the production and the sales, that would carry on making them more money. Experience in the industry where they developed their product themselves. They understood it. They knew what they were talking about. They weren't buying somebody else's product. Company uniqueness. They kind of had that with their brand. I think they were probably the first fruit drink to come along and be a bit more friendly. And even if you look at the language on the back, it talks about the berries and the fruits in the drink as if they're almost colleagues in the business in the way that they talk about them. It's really nice. An effective business model, they knew they had that. It had been working. It was just too small scale. And then the market share side of things. They didn't have a market share and they didn't really have brand recognition away from their existing customer base that were buying from them at that time. So they knew that they needed this everywhere. If they had any chance of getting the investors on board and turning this into reality where everywhere you looked there was an innocent logo, they needed to make sure that their target audience saw this logo everywhere they looked at. So they looked at their investors and they found that one of the most important investors and the decision maker was someone who was getting the train to work. They were getting takeaway deliveries where the guy lived. The guy played golf. He had no time on his hands. He was a family guy. So there was nothing they could do about the time. They weren't going to be able to sit down in front of these investors and say, hey, I'm going to sit here for as long as it takes to persuade you. Because if you watch Dragon's Den, it's just loads of people chucking ideas at people all the time, isn't it? You've got to make sure that you can stand out without expecting more time from them investors. What they did was they did advertising on the train that then investors were taking to work. So every time Joe Bloggs, the investor, got on the train, he would see the Innocent Smoothie logo at the top. They gave free samples to the local delivery companies. So in that guy's town, they put free samples in the packages. Every time you got a takeaway delivered to your house, there would be a free sample in there of an Innocent product. They gave it to the golf club at heavily discounted price, so it looked like people were actually selling that in the town. They were making a big loss. I think it was something stupid. They sold them for like 12p a product to the golf club. So the golf club didn't even know that this was happening. But the golf club were, yeah, we'll take 12p and I can sell them for £2. Yeah, no problem. I'll take them on board because everything else was getting sold to the golf club at £1.20 to sell at £2. And tasting stations outside the tube stations as well. All of that stuff worked. It got the investors to see that their brand was all over the place. As far as the investors knew, they looked like Coca-Cola because their logo was everywhere. Everyone was drinking it, but it was only in the area that them investors were because that's all their budget was to spend on. They couldn't chuck it everywhere. So that was really targeted, high-impact marketing. Yeah, it's obviously worked. Rich is now worth over £50 million. He's now investing into companies himself. I think it's Jam Jar Investments, I think it is. Yeah, he owns Jam Jar Investments as well. So he's now one of these investor guys that people are probably doing the same tricks on him as he played on loads of other people. But it was about engaging with the right audience to give them an awesome experience that maximised the return on investment. It's this pyramid system again. The important things when you are putting a marketing message out there is about making sure that the clarity is right, the consistency is right, the cohesion's right. You don't want to be giving across one message in one marketing format, whether that be on your website, on an email, on a phone call, and having one type of message and then trying to give a different message when people actually engage with you or pretending to be something you're not. You need to decide what you're, sorry. You need to decide what message you want to get across to the customer and the consumer. You need to be consistent with that delivery of the message and don't go changing your mind. There's too many businesses out there that go, okay, this Q1, this is the message we're going to put across and we're going to say we're the best at what we do. And then in Q2, we're going to say we're the cheapest at what we do. And then in Q3, we're going to have a rebrand and look completely different and look like another business. Keep getting the same message over and over across to your customers, to the right customers. And make sure that everything links up. It needs to always be you, your brand, your ethos, your philosophy, your messaging that goes out to all of the customers, and it's consistent all the way across. Let's have a look at Virgin. So if you think of Virgin as a person, then their tone of voice is all about their personality. It's how they express themselves. It's how they make things different, make them different from other business. Everything's fresh, it's friendly, it's fun. So Virgin, for example, instead of saying hello or hi peeps, they'd be more something along the lines of hey gorgeous. But Virgin makes sure that their communications are always positive. They use cheeky wit and they keep it simple and they make it fresh, but they're human, they're friendly, they're natural, they're cool. Right? Except Virgin would never say they're cool because by default, saying you're cool just deliberately means you're not cool. So but they will always make sure that they come across cool. Something they might do, for example, on their advertising, if they were advertising a Samsung mobile for a Virgin contract, for example, they'd say something like, this is just a photo of a new Samsung Galaxy. Imagine how awesome the actual phone is. So you see the advert, looks good. Oh, this is just a photo. What's the actual product like? It must be bloody amazing, right? But they're never going to say something like, this mobile is such a steal, you could end up in jail, or things like that. Or there was another one I saw that was from another mobile company. It was like lovely Nokias or something. It's just that Virgin sit on that line that is really dangerous and so easy to cross, because the way they can easily attract people that would have that kind of marketing mentality because of the brand is very cheeky, but it's clever in the way it approaches things. They don't want to offend people. So it goes back to that upskilling yourself advert at the beginning about too ugly to sleep your way to the top. That's the kind of stuff that some people might perceive Virgin might do, but they're not. They're really clever with the way that they do it.
There's a little story about Virgin if you want to project it. Apparently when Richard Branson launched his first aircraft and Virgin Airlines was starting, he was given by his people one task, because they kept him away from everything. One task was to get sorted out boarding passes, and they didn't think to monitor him. Branson went off to get all the boarding passes done for the airline, and they all came back in boxes, and they were all very excited. They opened them up, and he decided to not call it economy, but he called economy riffraff. And suffice to say, they didn't use them. They sacked that job and got them reprinted. But
Yeah.
I actually think, in retrospect, that probably would have been very clever. Not quite. Sorry? Get bubble glass, yeah.
Yeah.
Riffraff economy was quite smart.
But that's about all of these companies that do this very well. They have brand guidelines that they adhere to so strictly, and there'll be so many people signing off the process. But regardless of how big these companies are, it's about following what that company ethos is and how that company wants to be perceived by their customers. So decide how you want your customers to react to you, think of how they think about you, what language they want to hear from you, and make sure you follow that through across everything. So Virgin, what I quite often see in a marketing point of view is someone will come up with a quirky way of talking and they'll whack that in their About Us section on their website, or their social media posts will say about how amazing they are, and they'll talk really friendly. But then the sign off on the bottom of everything just doesn't match up, because they suddenly feel they need to get all really corporate again and be really professional. Yeah. So Virgin, when you look at what their sign off is on the bottom of the website, it's call us anytime on 0800 888 888 and ask us about it. Like, really simple. Yeah. But they've got across there what other people might write in a different way. So other people might say something like, contact our customer service department by calling 0800 888 at the time of your choosing, 7 days a week, 365 days. It doesn't matter. You don't need all of that, do you? You just need to say, call us anytime and we'll tell you about it. Roll that through. I'm not saying that what Virgin do is right, and it's not right for every company, but keep your language consistent and your tone of voice all the way through all of your messaging throughout everything. Unless you are producing loads of pieces of content that you can't produce yourself, then this should be really simple to do. Just be natural in the way that you are speaking and the way that you normally speak to your customers. So that it's not just about written content, it's about when you turn up as well. So if you're going to turn up and be the cheeky chappy that goes in the room and goes, hiya, how's it going? Good to see you, and that I want to pitch you my services, then be like that on your website, so that's what they expect. It's a waste of effort otherwise. Yeah? Matt Birch is a perfect example of this. Right? Matt Birch's website is full of text. right? There's so many words on Matt's website, right? Which is quite ironic because he's a photographer, right? But this is any excuse to write, and you write. The emails you send me are about 4,000 words long. It's great, right? But
everybody go to my website.
right, but no, but this is a good thing because that is Matt when he turns up, right? When you meet Matt, he has something interesting to say. He's always knows about what you're talking about. He'll always expand on whatever topic you're talking about, right? But you know that from the first engagement with him, whether you look at his social media posts or his emails or his website, to then meeting him, it's still that same person that you're going to meet. There's no point in Matt coming to someone like me and saying, Jamie, make me a really, really quirky brand that's all about infographics. That then when Matt turns up and starts talking technical about how he does photography, it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't feel right. He's attracted me in because of what I first liked. And then when he's turned up at the last minute, I've gone, nah, sorry, mate, you're not what I thought I was getting. Yeah, keep it consistent through everything. With a letter and a speech and yeah. Okay, this is what I talk to a lot of my customers about, and they get this wrong. Okay, so it's really hard to see here, right? But essentially, this is here. This is users looking for a product or a service, whatever anybody's selling. This is users looking for a product or service with your company, right? And whether they're engaging with you online or they're talking to their mates or they're looking for recommendations or they see your poster somewhere or whatever, there's two ways that people will come into your company. They will either know about your company already or they'll be looking for just your service, right? If people are just looking for your service, then some of them are going to go to your competitors. There's nothing you can do about that. What you want to do is attract as many of them as possible into your environment so that you can control them. Ones that are looking for your company specifically will no doubt end up in your environment. The chances of missing, there's a serious problem if they miss you, if they are looking for your company. But when they get into here, if they come to your website or if they come to your microsite or your social media or they're engaging with an email, make sure that it is all consistent, yeah? And you spin them around in your little bubble, in your area that you control. If you drive them in here and they come to your website and they don't like it, they will go over here and they are not going to come back. They go to your social media and they like it, for example, but then they go to your website and they don't like your website because it wasn't consistent. They're going to go to your competitor. They're not going to come back. Every way that you drive people in, think about the journey that you're going to send them on and how you move them around in that bubble and that messaging's all consistent and the same. You want to get to the point where once someone has come into your environment that you control, if you took your logo off, people would still recognize that that's the same company and would move around within that. And that's not just the coloring. It's the spacing you use between the text and the edge of the box you're using it. It's the color of the imagery. So whether you put a filter on the images or not, be consistent across everything, but also take into mind that different channels require slightly changes of tones of voice and languages and the way that you speak to people. So LinkedIn could be very different to how you engage with people on Facebook, which in turn can be very different to how you engage with people on Twitter. But that's because people are not quite in your bubble and your environment yet. You use platforms that you can edit but aren't completely in your control to drive people through to your platform. And then once they're in there, everything needs to be consistent. If you can keep everyone consistent within that area, you can give them a great user experience, and chances are they're not going to go off and look at your competitors. So whether they want your service now or they want it at some point in the future, doesn't matter because they're always coming back to engage with you. Read your blogs, look at your social media, have a look at your website, see what's changed on there. Check and see if the blinds have changed in your building when they walk past, because at the moment they do want your product, they're going to pick the phone up to you. That's what you really want. You need to be here at this level with everything you do, regardless of what that level is. If that's 10% good, right? Be 10% good across everything. If it's 99% good, amazing, be 99% across everything you do. Don't just put all your eggs into one basket and all your effort into one basket. You need to be consistent across all of the methods that you're targeting and what you're doing. So for clarity, consistency and cohesion, you need to work out who you want to target, work out where to engage with them people, and work out how much time that they'll have on their hands to engage back with you. You need to have clear messaging in everything you do, and you need to be consistent with everything you do, and then make sure that everything links together. There's no point in trying to get that customer at the exact moment that that customer wants your service. It's so hard to do. Like, even if you're selling a 50p Mars bar, the chances of you shoving that advert or that message in front of someone's face at the moment they want to buy it is so slim. Think about making them people love you, love your brand, love your ethos, love everything you do to make it memorable so that when they want to buy it, and whether that be a Mars bar for 50p or they want to come and spend £5,000 on marketing services over a meal each month, it doesn't make any difference. Just make them love you and want to engage with you. At the end of the day, you want to work with your target customers. You don't want to attract the wrong people in. This goes back to what I was talking about when we were about a year old, and I would say to everybody, I don't care what you want, come and work with me. Come and work with me. Because then you can guarantee, like, you have a ring the bell moment when you win that client, but 1 month later you're like, why are we working with this guy? Like, it's just, we've molded ourselves into something that didn't suit, and we're pretending to be something we're not. The customer will soon find out about it. Don't get into that mode. Don't get into that realm. You need to be making sure that you work with the people you want to work with, unless you're happy pretending to be fake and false for as long as you can do it.
So it's more like sort of building a relationship with them, like by giving them value.
It's a natural relationship rather than a forced relationship. Yeah. So, and that's not saying, like, don't try and be about you as an individual, unless it is. If you're one person and you're selling a service, then you've got to be about you, and you've got to sell you and portray you in the way that you will deliver when that customer comes on board. But if you've got a team of people, then decide how you want that company's personality to be, how that company should come across, so that when people come engage, you can tell your team, this is how we talk to our customers, this is how we engage with our customers, this is the kind of service our customers expect. And then that's easier to deliver to if everybody's being consistent and everyone knows what they're trying to deliver to, rather than trying to be fake and trying to pretend to be something you're not. At least that's the big learning that I've taken across the last couple of years with my company. I think before it was my company and I was working for other people, it would just be, yeah, sign up here, I'll pretend to be whoever you want because I'm going to chuck it across to a bunch of other people to service, and then it's going to be their fault if it all goes wrong. That's not the world that grows businesses. That's not the world we want to live in. So that's me talking about consistency, clarity, marketing, of high impact marketing and what works. There was one other thing I just wanted to have a quick talk about that has become really relevant in the marketing world recently, and that's GDPR, which is coming into effect on the 25th of May, isn't it, this year? So there's two big sides of this. So there's the GDPR around data protection and how you look after that data and what you do with it. And then there's how you engage with your customers and who you can engage with. So GDPR is basically saying that unless you have specific permission to market to an individual, whether that be business or private, it's the individual, then you cannot market to them people in any way, shape or form. So when it comes down to high impact marketing and you're only trying to engage with a few people, make sure that them few people are signed up to your marketing activities in the right way. There's only 3 months to get this sorted, because come May the 25th, if you send an email to somebody that you can't prove that you've got permission to market to them, then the ICO will come knocking on the door and saying, hey, you're in trouble, do it again, and they'll whack a big fine, which is up to 10% of your turnover, I think it is. It's 4% now, but I think it goes up. Is that? So yeah, it's big money, it's big problems if you don't adhere to it. But now is the opportunity to really refine your marketing databases down by sending them communications saying, do you want to be on my marketing database? Do you want me to engage with you moving forward? And if you do, great. And this is how I'm going to market to you in a really bespoke way that makes you want to come and use my company and use my services. Make sure you don't fall foul of GDPR. It's going to be a big thing in the next couple of months. If anybody wants to know more about GDPR, we've got a little offer on at the moment, which is basically making your company GDPR compliant. And if anybody wants to talk to me about that, then I'm happy to talk about that. Hope that wasn't too long. Hope it wasn't too short. 4 minutes before, aren't we? We're right, aren't we? 4 minutes free. So if anyone's got any questions, thank you.
Yeah, simple stuff, isn't it? It's like all these things. I mean, come from sort of backgrounds and industries, but you know, I hear these sort of things over and over again, and they're sort of things that I talk to clients about as well. But you know, as well as it's useful always to reflect on yourself and just think about what are you doing. You know, I think everybody's view of their market is like this, but
it's not. There's no point in trying to attract everybody. It's just chucking stuff out there and hoping it works. You need to really decide who it is and how them people want to be spoken to you, and do you want to speak to them people in the way that you want to engage with your customers. There's don't pretend to be something you're not.
So what we're going to do, we'll have a short break now. As usual, head ourselves upstairs while we clear it down here, and we'll probably more like try and just get some Q&A stuff going.
Yeah, let's try and make it a bit more bespoke to individuals' companies and that, and we'll have a chat about it and know what everyone does.
Some people have got in terms of and probably identifying those ideal customers and audiences, and take it from there. So, and then anyone who's here for the first time, if you'd like to hang back here, I can just give 5 minutes about what happened, and we'll go and people upstairs. Thanks for
Very interesting, actually.